make mistakes here. We just have happy accidents.
No bar, no pinball machines, no bowling alleys, just pool, nothing else.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to VP4 TV. We're here for another match in this year's VP4 2022 World Cribbage Championship. It's a one-loss side match between Silvia from Germany, Bedhead from Sweden, race to 13, and that's going to go at the top of the hour. We're about 6 minutes away from it now. Of course, it's also Friday night 9-ball. Good evening to Cobra. There is, at the last check, there's still 5 spots available, so it's getting a bit quieter now. I think down in England, the schools have just gone on holiday, or just about to. Up here in Scotland, they've been on holiday for, well, since July. Their holiday will finish round about my birthday. But of course, there's people away on holiday as well at this time of year, so it does tend to get a wee bit quieter. There's still time for a few people to get in. Having a look, Larry isn't there. He might not be playing tonight, or he might be fancying his chances that there'll be a spot there when he shows up. It looks like that will be the case. There's now 4 spots available, so there's still room for another couple to turn up. Quick update. We also have a match that's been scheduled since earlier this afternoon, because when I checked this afternoon, there was only the one match, which was tonight. But a week tonight, we have the winner's side match between Cobra and Machine, and that will be next Friday at the same time at 7 PM, top of the hour, which is 2 PM Eastern Standard Time, 11 AM Pacific. So we'll have that one as well. And still no update on when Semi-Pro and MC Clarkey are going to finish their snooker challenge match. It's still currently 14 frames to 10 to Semi-Pro after 3 sessions. The 4th one will be the final one. And then the last thing is that the sign-ups were open for the 10-ball World Championships. We'll have a quick look at that, because there's about, at last count, there was about a dozen people in that, if I remember rightly. Now, what I need to do is to click my link, because Steve hasn't got a post on the homepage for it yet. But if I click my link, it will take us to the sign-up page. And of course, this tournament doesn't start. It doesn't actually go live until the end of August, so it gives plenty of time for people to make their mind up and get in it. So if we look, we've got, I think it's 12, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. We've got 12 in. The usual suspects are in so far. Larry hasn't signed up, but he'll sign up soon enough. So there's loads of room. I think it's a maximum field at 64. I don't think it will get 64, but I would expect to get at least between 30 and 40 anyway. More people might get interested nearer the time. So that covers that. Welcome to Dwight. Cobra is saying 13-5 to Bedhead. I think you might be close on it there, Cobra. That's provided Silvia has the stomach for it and stays the distance. We'll soon see. We've seen that Potman didn't. Potman had enough and he walked. And we know what happened to Silvia in the last black ball tournament. I think she won a match and then had enough of that. So we're not sure of the staying power of some of these players who just can't seem to handle the battle, regardless of whether they're losing or losing heavily. You stay in it till the end, that's my opinion. You die with your boots on. Right, so it's about 3 minutes away now. The one noticeable thing is I haven't seen Bedhead in the lobby unless he has suddenly arrived, but I don't see his name. So, oh, there he is. He must have arrived in the meantime. So Silvia's in, presumably getting a bit of practice. Yes, she is. So she's hopefully going to try her damnedest, and we all know what can happen. You just need that little bit of roll of the ball, but above all, Silvia can't go gifting opportunities to Bedhead. She's got to, make sure she makes the right move at the right time. But I think, in all honesty, as far as Silvia is concerned, I think the best form of defence is attack. I think she might as well go for it. I don't think she's got anything to lose. She probably doesn't fancy her chances, but, it's a race to 13, and if you can stay in it until deep into the match. Now, we've noticed one thing in the last two matches, that the losers were in it until the first dozen racks had gone by. They were within a rack or two behind, and then they fell away, and then the match was dead and gone. So we'll see if the same pattern happens in this match, and whether Silvia can get a good start and get into the game and maybe keep her interest in it as well. Right, so I will just let you see letting see anybody that's watching the matches that are coming up. So if I can get the right button here, we'll get the match that is due to come up tonight, which is all set to go. VP4 is showing up on screen, which is good. I don't know what the hell's going on with that, but it's working okay. Right, we're at the top of the hour virtually. We'll go back in and have a quick look and see how many more are in Friday Night 9 Ball, because the obvious intention is, well, there's 2 spots left, so there was one bye last week, and there's still 2 spots, so that's 14 in. Larry's got himself in, and One Pocket Slim is there. I think that's probably about it, although there's a name, Chain Link. I don't remember that name. I don't know whether he was in it last week. I don't think I've ever seen this Fausto cap in the tournament, and Rabbi or whatever you call them. So there's another 3 sort of strange names in. So we'll see how that goes. So Steve obviously said the other night there he won't be. I think he gets out golfing on a Friday, to be honest. That's what he's probably doing. He's probably out in the golf course. Right, so the rooms are up. Bedhead and Silvia's room's up. They may well be underway. They're just about to. Bedhead has won the lag, and he's going to break off, and he's going first and second ball, but that one ball stayed stone dead. It didn't actually move. And he's had a ball in the break. Only problem is that he can't get to the 5. So he's locked out in it. And these balls are sitting not too bad. If only for the fact that the 14 and the 1 are quite close together. Well, they aren't now because he's moved them. But in fact, I don't know whether that would have been wise to do that so much. Well, the 1 ball's gone back to more or less where it was, and the 10 ball's been spotted, so that's locked things up. And Silvia's now, I think, got to take ball in hand unless she thinks she can get out from that 3 and get on to the 12. If she takes the 12 from ball in hand, that's not so good. I don't know whether she might be worthwhile trying to get out for the 12, but it's not a good line to get out there without colliding with something. What else was there? Now, where's the 13 ball? Is it up the table? The 13 ball's up the table, so that's a better choice. I never noticed that one. So that gives her a start. Welcome to Slim. Welcome to Brain Fill Out. So Silvia is in, but she's got hard work to do here to get much more out of this. She's trying to drop into that little gap. Well, let's just say she's got a sight in the 10 ball. And this is just a little tricky one, reading that cut angle into the side pocket, but if she's going to go for this, she should go for 100% and get through those balls. She needs to get through those balls, and I don't know whether it's worth her while coming back. Well, that's opened them up. Now, what ball's that down there? That's the 4. She can go 11 up the table. 11 up the table and down for the 4. And she's not looking down there at all. I mean, this angle on this 11 is a good pot to get up the table for the 4. I don't see a problem with that. But she's looking at the 1 ball for the 14, so she's going to have to just try and hold the line here. And now the idea would be that if she does pot the 1, she can still drop down for this 11 and the 4 up table. What else have we got? We've got the 8 and 7 in the middle of the table. Now, she needs to mind her work here because this table is too good to let Bedhead come in. She really needs to get this put away with this opportunity. This is the type of stuff that you have to be doing at this level in the tournament. Again, she seems fascinated by getting on this 12, and it's going to go wrong. She should have went for the 11 and 4. I kept saying it because that 12 ball you had to get up the table or you had to find this gap, and she'd done neither. And like I said, the way these balls are sitting, this is going to be painful. And she doesn't have a jump cue, so she's looking for the combo. Yeah, and that is a big mistake. It's a big mistake because it didn't need to happen. The safer shot was the 11 ball to get herself up the table for that 4 and then worry about the next cribbage after that. I think that was the path she should have took because it was the safest route. It couldn't really go wrong. She was on that 11 ball twice with a similar angle just to cut it up table, go to the long rail on the left and cut across for the 4 along the short rail at the top of the table. And she's going to lose her rack now because of it. Welcome to Tommy. Our screen is skewed. Hang on a minute. Hang on a second, guys. Just bear with us. See what's going on here. Wait a wee minute. I've just noticed that. You're right enough. I must have moved something when I was changing the names. Just give me a second. That better. That should be better. Hang on. I'll be back with you in a minute. I've just got to move things around here. Right, now. We should be good to go now. We're just going to catch Bedhead winning this rack. Thanks for mentioning that, guys. I never noticed. I was putting the names in, and I've probably dragged my game screen, the actual VP4 screen, because you can do funny things like that. You can have the screen tilted and the angles and all that fancy stuff. but I don't go in for that. Well, as I mentioned earlier in the rack here, I think Silvia has shot herself in the foot. She should have gone 11-4. I think I was probably right in saying that. I think when you've got to, when you've got to move that cue ball into a spot, it's a big ask to be reliable enough to do that. Now, there was a big enough gap to get on the 12 ball, but she found the only place she couldn't see the 12 behind the 7. And well, there's what happens. And that's what you have to be doing. Whenever that mistake is made by the opponent, players like Bedhead are just going to, swallow that up. It's easy meat for Bedhead. And that's the type of thing that Silvia and any other player in this tournament who fancies their chances, they must be taking the opportunity. They can't be messing it up. And if you're messing it up with positional play, then what you then have to do is you have to play the safer shot. I mean, you can be aggressive, attacking, or whatever, but you have to know your limitations. And any other day it might have worked, but when she wants it to work tonight, it didn't, and it's lost her the first rack. And also, Bedhead has potted 3 balls in the break, and he's got 3 cribbage balls to get rid of first. So the 14 is gone. He's got the 13 as a cut, right in the middle of the table at the top of the screen. And the 10 ball goes past the 3 and the 6. Now, he might be looking at the 10 now because he won't probably get much better on the 10. But let's have a look at the angle he's got in this 13. Well, he's just got to watch the pace. And that's pretty good. And this is the difference between the Cobras, the Bedheads, Albinarios. It's the players that move the ball better, because the potting of the balls isn't a problem. The technical side of it is knowing how to move that cue ball, but moving it and getting the pace right generally gets you on the right ball at the right time. And players who don't quite have that level, when they have and I'm saying Silvia's not quite at that level, but when they do have those chances like she has done, those errors are so costly. It's going to cost her probably 2 racks straight away, straight off the bat. Good evening to Rob. Good evening to LS3. And this is where Silvia is going to struggle now that she's immediately having to chase, and of course Bedhead is going to have the break, winner breaks. And he's got the 3 ball, I think, that time. And, well, he's going to have to probably play the combo. Can he get through to that 12? It might be tight. He might be able to get it. Then again, he might not. It doesn't look to me that he can get right through to that 12. Then again, when you look at it from that side, it looks as if there's enough room, but he might be cutting this towards the 10. Yep, it was a wee bit too tight. So Silvia's been let off the hook there, and again, these balls are not sitting too badly. So she needs to just take her time, have a look at what's on here, and she's got an 11-4 that's easy enough, I think. There's the 11, there's the 4, so that gets you off the mark. What's she doing here? Right, so 4 ball onto the bottom rail for the 11. What else have we got? We've got a 10 that's blocked by the 12, so that doesn't count. This is the thing. I mean, there's a 9 ball, and you've got to get a good angle in that to get up the table for this 6 ball. Now, there's a huge gap to get on this 6 ball off the 9, but she's now left herself really awkward over the 5. So this cue ball has to get into this area here for a shot in this 6 ball, and this is not as easy as it could have been. And again, she's overhit it. She's overhit it again. So that's 2 shots Silvia's had to get on the cribbage ball, and she can't get there. And it's going to have to be a tricky little combo, and that's well played. And now she's got a 5 and 10. No, she hasn't. I keep forgetting about this bloody 12 ball. Now, if you took the 12 ball, well, she's going for 14-1. I don't think she's hit that either. She's left it short. You could have taken... Let's have a look at this gap. That's far too tight. So she's under a bit of pressure again. Good evening to WizKid. Well, you know my theory and my opinion on people that quit matches. You go into a tournament to be competitive. You don't go in to suddenly bottle out just because you're on the wrong end of a beating. You stay with it all the way regardless, because you never know what can happen. And that's the thing that these people forget. You never know what can happen. Okay, you're not going to be favourite to win, but you just hang in there and see what turns up. So Silvia now is in pretty good shape here, because the 10 ball and the 5 ball she simply cannot miss, and that's all she needs to get herself off the mark. So that is a good outcome for Silvia, because Bedhead went for that tight pot, trying to, I think it was a 12 ball he was trying to get to, and it was very tight, and rattled in the jaws, and she's done what she had to do, but that break has come up dry at the look of it. But the scoreboard looks far better at 2-1 than it could have done 3-0, so it's still a little bit more positive than what it was looking like. Got herself hooked on that, the ball into the side, and played a little combo to keep herself at the table. And Bedhead having to play the combo here. And this is just not quite on line to the pocket, but easy enough to make. We've got, what ball's that up there? Is that the 10? That's a 10, so... This is not nice. There's see, that's a problem. There's a problem there. There's a 9 and 6, but the 6 is blocking the pocket of the 9. He's got a 14. The 1's locked up. This is not a great table, to be honest with you. There's nothing on here for Bedhead, I don't think. I'm looking around and looking around, and I'm looking for... Well, there is the 4-11. Well, that is the 11 there. Did he not see the 4-11? I mean, he could have cut the 4. He's just hoping to get through to the 13. He's going to have to go rail first. That was very tight, but he's got it. And he's now blocked off on the possible shot in the 4, so you've got the 6, and then out behind for the 9. And then of course we know that the 4 and the 11 go, so that's not a problem. And then there's a 7 and 8, so at the moment Bedhead is going to have at least another 2 cribbages, but he's going to have to do a bit of damage or he won't be able to finish the rack at this visit. Are you on Twitch, WizKid? Because Twitch is usually the quickest. But I can't do anything about the speed of the chat because that gets fed through Restream, as it does from YouTube and Twitch, and then it gets fed through the broadcast. Totally without my control, or out with my control. So Bedhead is going to get the job done. There must have been another cribbage there I missed. I must have missed a cribbage. So he's now got the 2 rack gap again. Well, good evening to Tam. So Silvia's made the mistake at the wrong time again. And the only thing that's going to save her is those two balls tied up in the middle of the table. Bedhead has to get into those one way or another. And welcome to any newcomers. Was I muted again? Now, this is the opportunity Bedhead's waiting on. He's going to have to just get a wee bit of left on this. Doesn't need to be brutal with it. Just needs a little chip. And that's the right one right there with that shot. So Bedhead will need... Now let's have a look at this 8 ball. How close is that to the head spot? It's not far off it. Well, it's going to go anyway, so that gets rid of that. Because this 15 ball is going to have to be respotted. Well, this is a sore one for Silvia to take because it's a unforced error. A poor shot in the 7th. And as soon as Bedhead got that little nudge from the cut shot in the 4 and those 2 balls bumped open, this rack was over. Or it will be, provided he can pot the 15 and get himself somewhere over to the middle pocket on the right hand side. That's all he wants to do. I don't know. No, tell a lie, he only needed that, didn't he? I got it wrong. I thought he needed a respot. My counting's wrong. So Bedhead with a 4 racks to 1 lead. And you see how, I mean, anybody else that's in this tournament and, well, maybe not listed as a favourite, the most obvious thing you have to take on board is that chances when you get them, you've got to make the most of them. You've got to really focus and you can't be making silly little misses. You've got to hold your nerve. So Bedhead, with no shot in the cribbage ball, and there's a proper mess in the middle of the table, so there's not a lot going here for Silvia. I mean, she can pot the 8 ball, I believe. There's the 3-12. But now, once again, the 7 balls down the table, if she's going to get on this 3, that's not a great angle. If she was going to try and do any sort of damage. Let's have a look at this. What ball's that that's there? Is that the 14? She's going to have to pot this 8 ball clean. She could pot the 4 and get the 11. Now, ideally, well, she pot. So I'm looking to see whether this 2 goes. And obviously, that's a crazy shot because that's the one that would break open a bunch of balls. But you've got to get really lucky. And this is going really awkward on this 8 ball. But the chances are, if she made this really thin cut, this cue ball will need enough pace in it to make the cut, and the cue ball won't be anywhere near the 7 ball when she does play it, because the cue ball's running all over the place. So she's just going to be playing safe, I would think. Well, now she's in trouble. Again, she should have played safe, because now she's flipped to 14 ball. Oh, and she's had a bump in the pack. Has that made any difference? What about that 1 and 2? Oh, well, those 2 balls get spotted. Well, that is a proper mess there. Nothing on here for Bedhead. Let's have a quick look while they're messing about with this at the moment. Hang on. There was 14 in Friday night 9 ball. Let's see what the bracket's showing. We've got Bill playing Christian. Christian getting 5 and out. Gunnett playing Mooncake. Oh, Mooncake's already. Oh, they've got buys. I forgot about that. Right, so Friday night 9 balls off and running. And meanwhile, this is going to take a little while to resolve itself. Somebody sooner or later is going to make the move. Good evening to Semi-Pro. I take it you're still married. So Bedhead will take ball in hand, I would assume. Looking at where the cue ball stuck. Is Bedhead going to lose patience? And he's deciding just to play the little tap. Now, is Silvia going to hold her patience? I'm just checking to see if there's anything on. There's nothing on. There's a 14 that will cut, but this is the big move. If Bedhead's going to go for it, because he's got no idea, if he done that he would be able to see the 1 ball. And obviously there'll be movement in the pack, but he's not that daft. So, in the kitchen, we've got the 7, the 10 and the 13. I should just bump this through to the rail and leave the cue ball pretty much there, I would think. No, she's went for the bank. Of course, the 7 ball goes into the stack of balls. Bedhead has ball in hand, and he's got the choice here to take the risk. Now, if he gets into these balls here, the 1 ball's certainly going to come this way, and that is unlucky. He took the risk, but he didn't get the roll. So now, the way these balls are sitting, it's looking good for Silvia to at least get something out of this to get her started. The 7 and 8 will be available. Now the question is whether she takes ball in hand. Let's have a look. Well, I think she probably will. I mean, she could. That's a bit tight as well to pot the 9 and get past the 1. I think she might replay this and go again. But looking at that potting angle and the 1 and the 9 in the side, it's a wee bit tight to come past this. And she's got to be careful she doesn't get into this too much and end up down here hooked behind the 10. Or doing something like that. Well, that's okay, because I thought that was gone. Now, once again, she's going to pot the 6, but if she made her mind up where she's going next, into the middle of the table would be the safest route, because you know that you're going to be on the 7 or the 8. And those 2 balls, they're split, so everything's on. The only one to worry about would be this set up here. Now you can get to the 13 down the rail, but obviously the 2's up there. You don't want to be leaving yourself awkward shots. You want to be taking what's open and available and worry about the other stuff later on. So I'll roll in the 14. And she's got a sledgehammer touch, because that was poor. She's left herself one of these you don't like, the square cut. The question is where's the cue ball finishing? And I don't think that. Well, that was fine. I've lost track again, because I forgot about the fact that she only needed that for the rack. So Silvia won the tactical battle there. She came out on top, and immediately that happens, we've got the first one of the night, scratch the break, and that's the worst outcome after having just won a hard fought rack. And Bedhead, with ball in hand, he's got a 5 that he could roll right through for the 10, I think. Is that what he's doing? Oh no, the 10's up here. Again, my colours are mixed up, because I think that's the 10 down there, and the 10's in the kitchen. 14-1. There's a 9 and a 6, it will go. The 8's obviously blocked by that 12 ball into this corner. He's just got to get his head straight about where he's going next, so it's going to be 14-1. The question is whether it's going to be a good angle in this 1 ball just to drop onto that 6, and that looks pretty good to me, even though he's slightly, I think, the wrong side of the 1. I don't think there should be any problem. We can actually just pinch this into the pocket and get over here for the 6, because the 9's free up the table. He's just looking around where the next shot's going to be. I think he's looking at the 6. Because there's nothing to do with the cue ball other than pot the 6 and just come back the way. I mean, there's a 13-2 as well. They're going to be available. So this is just a little drawback off this, I think, just to get the cue ball clear. Now, at the moment, he looks as if he's running forward, but he's going to just come back off it. Just a little stun drop. Now, this is where he has to be sure where he's going next, because this is where you have to get on a spot. 13-2 we know is available. 8-7 really isn't. You've got to play a good shot to get on that 8 ball. So this is a critical shot here in terms of position. So let's see where he's going to move. Because I haven't the foggiest idea what he's going to do here until he's done it. I'm thinking he wants to get out into the table to try and get the 13. Now, depending on the angle, and this looks well controlled to me, that's perfect. Couldn't have played it any better. And he's got loads of room to draw back up the table and get onto this 2-ball. And this will take him to his 4th cribbage. And then, with this 2-ball, the angle he's just got to drop this in dead weight so he can drop down for this 12 and get up for the 3 for the rack. And now, well, maybe he obviously didn't think he could hold it for the 12, so he's went round the corner to leave the cut. I think he could probably still take the 8-ball and get out of there onto the 7. I don't, maybe he's worried about the 12-ball being in the way, but so he's having to take the tougher shot. Shouldn't have any problem getting on the 3. Pace is good again, and the rack is 1. So it's going to be now a 3-rack lead, and Silvia needs just to get this next rack to stay in touch, or this match is going to threaten to run away fairly sharpish. Right, well, Bedhead has got 3 balls. He needs the 12, the 6 and the 4. And I don't think he can see, well, he can see the 6-ball, but it doesn't go. It's a thin cut into the side. And all the rest of them are pretty much safe. They're not in good positions, these partner balls. I'll have a quick drink. Yeah, it was a tough cut. So 2 balls are going to get spotted. Well, 4, sorry, forgetting the ones that went in the break. But I don't think Bedhead will be too worried about that at the moment. Silvia's got a 7 and an 8-ball to go. That's available, but there's not an awful lot else because of those balls. It's all lined up. So what we got? Now, the obvious thing is she has to pot the 7 first and then leave the cut on the 8-ball. Now, how thin could you get the cut in that 8-ball? Now, thinking ahead here, there's a possibility that if Silvia can get down the table, see she's bumped to 13. What I was thinking there is if she could have potted that ball, missed the 13 and come down the table on the bottom end of the 2, then she could have went 2-13 up the table. As it's finished now, she's dead thin in the 13 and just hoping to still see the 2, and that's too heavy. And the only saving grace for her again is the fact that these balls are going to get spotted. And Bedhead's not going to have a lot going for him when he comes to the table, which he will do in a minute. You posted some real 8-ball pool on YouTube. What? What, is it a tournament or something? Oh, the yawning started early in the night and it's only 20 minutes to 8. Well, I think this is a vital rack. There's going to be quite a few vital racks. But when you're 3 behind, this is a vital rack. Now Silvia came out on top in the one tactical rack that we had. She managed to win out. Oh, it's you playing real pool. Well, Bedhead, he took a big risk there because he's bumped into the line of balls, and he can be thankful that he didn't do any more damage there. I mean, he's loosened the 5 ball. Where the hell's the 10 ball? It's in the line anyway, so I mean, there's still not a lot going. Yeah, this is going to take a little while to resolve itself. Looking around, there's not any sort of combo on really. Well, Bedhead is going to work at it. Again, he's found a spot. Or has he? The only thing he's got here is the cut in the 14. Or the draw off the 1 for the 14. That's by far the easier shot. Well, he's going high. Now, if he's ever going to do anything with this line of balls as it is, he's going to have to put loads of right-hand English on the ball, and it makes the pot that much harder. It's a bit of a tight angle to be trying to hold the line. No, he's not doing that. He's going a little bit of left to come around behind him. Now, where's he trying to drop? He's trying to, I think, get onto that. I presume he was trying to get onto the 10 ball to play the cut and blast him open, but he's left it short. Is he still going to be enticed into going for it? Because he could pay the price if he does, or he could win the rack if he does. So you got to weigh up the pros and cons of the advantage of doing this or winding it in. Well, that's given Silvia a bit to think about, because Bedhead's played the safety. There is an 11 and a 4 out in the open, but she's stuck onto the 6 ball. And again, you know, was that a wise move? Okay, she's not left a lot on, but when you start banging a ball around the table, goodness knows where it can end up. It could hit a knuckle and run into the balls and open them up. You know, you've got to play sensible shots. That wasn't really that sensible, I don't think. And Bedhead's just going to lock onto the 5. Gets the ball to a rail. And well, Silvia can see the 6 ball. And is she going to try and ride her luck here? It looks as if she is. Now, it's all about just getting below this ball and not scratching. And she hasn't got there. And now she's got a problem. She's just going to have to pot the 15. and concede ball in hand, I think. Now let's have a look. Steve would probably be saying you could bank this 9 ball. But I don't see much that you can do with this 9 ball. So the balls will get spotted. So we've got the 5 and the 6 locked up. We've got no obvious cribbage available. What ball's that in the side rail? That's a 12, which obviously does not pass the 4. The 3 ball will cut, and Bedhead's looking to just come into this spot here. He has to leave that sort of angle. No, he's not doing it. I thought he was going to. Is he going to cut across here? No. And Bedhead is showing the patience. He's not going to make things easy for Silvia. He's going to leave that up to her to make the move because she's the one that's trailing. Let's have a quick look around here. Yeah, this is going to be one of these really important racks in the match. And Bedhead looking as if he's lining up the 11 for the 4. So the mistake has been made. And the 12 and the 3 are now a lot easier to get to. I think that's the 12 that's in the middle of the table. Is that the 10? Yeah, but of course the 12 isn't blocked now. That 12 ball is frozen to the rail, and that's going to be tough. And the 3 ball, I don't think is frozen to the rail, but this one's a toughie, this 12 ball. Yeah. When they're frozen to the rail like that, they are not easy. And Bedhead has got lucky there because he's blocked the sight on the 3 ball, and the path of the 12 ball is blocked by the 15. And that 12 ball might actually go, but you've got to not only miss the 15, in which case Silvia has hit the 15 and also hit the 3. And the only thing that's keeping Silvia in this rack at the moment again is that 5 and 6 ball being locked up. So Bedhead now on 3 cribbages, and Silvia has to be careful here. She can't do anything that's going to. I mean, she obviously needs to break those balls out to win the rack, but she doesn't want to do something where she's going to bang a ball and it's going to hit them, because that'll immediately lose her the rack. Because those are vital partner balls for the balls that are in the open in the table. Now, well, is Bedhead just going to bump it around the angles? Yes, he is. He's just going to keep making sure he leaves things where Silvia's got no options really. And she's not got much of an option here. But I tell you something, it'll be fatal if she bumps that 5 and 6 at any time. Well, we've now got a shot in the 12. It's a little dink, but if Bedhead can get the inside angle, well, he's come out. I don't know whether he's got an awful lot to work with here, but he's going to make the move now. He's got to get a bump to get these opened, so he'll be going all out for it. And he couldn't get there. The angle was not great. And Silvia breathes again. But it takes Bedhead to 4. So right now the odds on Silvia digging herself out of this one are fairly slim, considering she cannot make any error. And as and when, if she does get a chance, she must have an angle to get into those balls. Of course, Bedhead can't get enough of that 6 ball to pot it, I don't think. But he's just conceding ball in hand and making it even more difficult for Silvia because he's locked up the 15 and the 10. Now, she could just kick into the 10 and pot the 15 and let it get spotted. That's not going to leave anything on, because I think that's a combo pretty much down the rail into this corner pocket. She could just go up and down and give that a bump. But then the risk you take doing that is where the 10 ball finishes and whether Bedhead would have a shot in the 10 ball where he could get into them. So maybe not a wise option, my theory there. Well, this 10 ball is way too straight anyway. And does the 5 go into the side? Bedhead thinks he can get enough of it. He's looking at it. I think there's a possibility there might be enough of that 5 ball. Maybe not. Maybe my eyes are deceiving me. Well, he's certainly... Well, what's he thinking here? Yeah, I think he gave it a quick look, but then very quickly decided he's not going to get near it. Well, I would just play from there. Just bump the 15 up the table. And if possible, try and bump the 15 in behind the stack of balls. And that way, it makes it more difficult for Bedhead. There's something to be played for here. As you just sent the 15 to the corner pocket, but I would have actually tried. I mean, there are 2 ways to do it. You could just play safe and bump it up the table, or you could just pot the 15 and get it into the line. Now, well, Bedhead has moved the 10 ball into the open. It obviously pots. Now let's have another look at this 5 ball. If you got there, could you get enough of that 5 ball to get it into the side pocket? Well, clearly Silvia doesn't think so either. And once again, I would just be potting the 15 ball. So now, Bedhead does the obvious safety, just bump into the head ball, get the back ball to go at the rail and leave the cue ball locked on the head ball. And this, well, is Bedhead going to lose patience and finally take the risk? I think he's going to. He's still got no idea whether he'll be able to get the 10, but he's going to give it a go and see how his luck goes. And well, he's made the move. He took the attacking option and he's brushed off the second ball and scratched. And Silvia could have won the second safety battle in this match, but it'll very quickly go wrong if she can't get a hole for this 1 ball to go in. 9 ball, and that's really horrible. And from having an immediate chance to win the rack, she's now probably about to lose the rack unless this goes in. And that's a good shot. That was well played. Put herself under pressure with that. And again, with the cue ball going all over the place, she's ended up leaving a severe bedhead cut on the 10 ball there. And the rack has definitely gone this time. So there was a glimmer of hope that Silvia had, but she couldn't get good shape to start with. And it's another rack that's leaked away, and this time she's lost the battle. And it's 6-2. Well, Cobra said 13-5 earlier on. I tended to agree with them. It wouldn't be far off that, and it's certainly heading in that direction. And Bedhead's break. Again, Bedhead's getting a few balls in the break. He needs a 12 or the 4 as a partner ball. Now look what he's got here. He's got the 12 and the 4 lined up as a combo. He's looking to try and kick the 12 in, and that's unlucky. That was unlucky. And now, well, Silvia, need we state the obvious? There's 3 balls, I think, in the stack there in the line in the middle of the table. What have we got up the top corner here? We've got the 15 and the 9. Now, so you've got a shot where you can, let's have a look at how that's sitting. You can play the 15 onto the 9, run the cue ball around into the table, but you've got to get around into a spot where this 6 ball will have a pocket. So she's drawn off it. That's a better move. We've got the 14 and the 1. 14 cuts into the corner, 1's down table. We've got the 13 and the 2. And we've got the 7 and the 8. Now, again, she needs to steady the ship here before she makes the move, because there are cribbages on here that she's got to put away. And well, she's got there. I thought she'd overhit that there. So now, without doing a lot with the cue ball, it's probably going to be the 7 and 8 next. What one was this? What did I say that was up the table? We've got the 14 and the 1. And that is really poor. I mean, that is really, really poor. I mean, there's all this area to get the cue ball. Even if you come up this side of the table, you're going to have a cut in the 8. And, you know, simple shots like that, where you cannot get the control of the cue ball to get into a big area to leave yourself a cut in the 8, you're just going to fritter racks away doing that. And your possibilities for digging yourself out a hole in this match are pretty much gone already. And like I said, there was all those cribbages there to be taken. And you've just got to make sure you're moving this cue ball in the correct manner. And that was a pretty straightforward enough shot to get into an open area to get on the 8. Once again, though, we've got this mess of balls up table. So this, I think, Bedhead, this could be dangerous. If he's running forward off the 11, he needs to watch the scratch. He's trying to open them up, but he needs to watch the scratch. Oh, he's missed him. I think he might have thought he was going to brush that there. I think he was maybe hoping he would just brush that 11 there, but as I say, the danger would be brushing it and running into the corner. But he's played a pretty good shot there, Bart, for the fact that he's fairly straight. Now, is he trying to pinch this? He's just trying to pinch it. Yep, perfect. Just pinch a slight angle just to give him that nudge, which is all he needs. And this rack is going to be gone in the blink of an eye. Well, I hope you're paying good attention to this LS3, because the way you've been playing so far in these matches, those type of errors that Silvia is making, the longer you can keep them out your game, the odds in you're running in deep into this tournament go flying. They go flying up, or they come down, whatever way you want to look at it. I mean, if you can cut out and keep errors down to a minimum, you've got every chance of doing well in this. And above all, taking the opportunities that you took in your matches. Silvia's making the mistakes, and they're costly when you come up against players like Bedhead. This, as I say, this is just a feast for Bedhead. It's like picking over the bones. And another rack goes, and it's 7-2. And this looks dry. It looks dry. Now, what has Silvia got to start her off here? Well, there's nothing obviously nice here to start anybody off in this rack. The 8 ball goes past the 2. The problem with that, the 7 ball, is the angle in the 7. That's not good. There's a shot in the 14 ball, but it's a pressure shot because you're potting at and drawing down here to get the 1. She's taking the 4, and again, way short in any sort of position. A huge area again in this path here to go on the 11, and she's nowhere near it. And look at the way these balls are sitting apart from the 6 and the 3. Well, again, probably the better thing to do there would have been to pot a ball and get a couple of balls stacked into that line in the middle of the table. And now she made the wrong move there. I mean, you can try and get a fluke to make the cribbage, but probably the better thing would have been to pot a ball and just bring it up into the line and try and give yourself a lifeline to hang in the rack. But Bedhead's got work to do, though. Well, you've heard what Steve said about your banking, and your banking is good. I mean, you've played all the best banks in this tournament so far. Well, Bedhead can see the edge of the 4. I don't know whether they can see enough of it to actually pot it. We'll soon find out. And yes, he can. And now Silvia is going to probably be in trouble, because I think Bedhead can pot the 2. He can pot the 13 into the side. Now, does he want to try and leave an angle on the 10 ball down the side rail so he can bump the 6 and the 3 and still be on this 5 ball in the bottom rail? Does he want to do that? If he's looking at the 13, he can roll it in. He wants to leave some sort of angle, and that's gone dead straight. That's not the angle he wanted. He wanted something just inside the 10 like that, or maybe possibly right in the rail. So all he can do now is just get through and make sure he gets the 5. That takes him to his 4th cribbage though. And there's nothing else in the open. But he's had the bump in the 12. He's going to have to take the 1 into the side and avoid running into the 9. So he's hopefully missing, for his sake, the 9 on this side with a bit of inside left just to come back down. No, he's trying to draw across. Well, that's not a bad effort. I thought it looked as if he was putting left-hand English on it there to run through, but the 9 ball looked in the way to me, so he done the right shot. And that gets the job done. So Bedhead, with a 8 racks to 2 lead and a dry break, and Silvia's got a 12 and a 3. The 12 just needs to be dropped in completely dead weight, no pace in the cue ball at all. And the 3 ball goes into the side. Now, what I'd be doing is I'd be bumping this 3 in to get back out into the table. I wouldn't be just dropping it in. I'd be getting back out. Now, problem here is she's got out and blocked herself in the 14 because there's an easy 14-1. If she had gotten further out in the 13, she could have been able to pot that and come back for the 2. Problem with the 13 is you can't go up table, you're running into traffic. And she's in trouble here. But there is a 6-9 where, again, you've got to get lucky. If you cut the 6 and you hit the 8 ball, there's a chance of hooking yourself. When she's got the 1 and managed to, at this time, at least see the 14. Now, we know the 6 goes past the 7, there's not a problem. We know the 9 goes. Now, what's she thinking on now? I'd be looking to pot that 9. Well, she's taking the 7. She's got on the 8. I was thinking about potting and nine and getting up the table because I think she's the angle to do it, but she's okay. I'm looking at different cribbages while she's looking at her cribbages. That's my problem. I'm looking at a way to try and keep things as simple as possible to get on that next ball. Now, what's she on? This will be her fourth cribbage. And this is one of these where you've just got to read the angle. It looks easy enough. But it's not when you know that it could be a fatality if you miss it. Now, she's in no man's land. See, the thing is that that 10 ball she had to pot there and had to focus the pot. What she hasn't got is good on the next cribbage ball. And this has to keep running. It's got to keep going. Well, it will cut into the side. I mean, it does bank. And there's the mistake. Is it going to fluke? No, it isn't. And, well, this is another rack that's gone, I'm afraid. And again, it's fundamental errors in moving the cue ball that's costing Silvia. And this is what costs every player in the tournament, and why the players like Cobra, Bedhead and the rest of them stay in it until the business end, because they're the best at moving the cue ball. And if any players are wondering how they can get better, potting the balls aren't the problem. The technical side of it is moving the cue ball. And once you get that under control, your odds increase dramatically in taking these opportunities when you get them. You're watching chances just go down the pan when you haven't got that confidence in your own ability to get that cue ball to the spot each time. So this time, Bedhead with the 2 and the 13 to bring him to 3 cribbages, and this time he definitely needs the 2 15 balls. And I think that angle is good enough. It's just the fact he's probably going to have to go the rail and come back across, maybe, because he's so tight to the rail. He might be better. Well, he's trying to hold it. I think he's okay. He's left that a little dicey one, but he shouldn't miss this. Right in the centre of the pocket. And you see how these players feast off your mistakes. Positional errors in cribbage are severely punished. Bedhead's got a ball. Now what went there? 2 balls still spinning. So the 12 is gone. And he's got a cut in the 3, which again is not easy. Now what's he looking at here? Into the side. That was a good shot. That was tight. I mean, he'd half a pocket there at most. The look of it. Now what we got from where he's sitting. Yeah, he's got an obvious 5-10. The 5 will go, and then he has to be lucky to go on the 10. He's got the 2, and he's leaving the combo for the 13, which doesn't look all that difficult. Would have been better if he was here though. He just left the cue ball short. But you know what Bedhead's like with these Bedhead cuts and combos. Now, does he play? I mean, he's got an 11-7 combo to get on the 8 ball. He's got the 1, the 9, sorry, to come back out for the 6. Now, is he coming behind it? I think he's coming behind it, yeah. Just to take it up table or into the side. But he's also got the 1 and the 14 to follow. He's got the 8. Once the 14 goes out of the way, you can get to the 7 a lot easier from the middle of the table if he's taking the 8. Just get into the cue ball. So now that'll be what looks like the 10 and the 5. And that will get this job done in this rack and takes Bedhead to double figures. Oops. Sorry guys. Now you've got to forgive me, I'm tired. Cue ball. Well, here's a little bit of a lifeline for Silvia. She's looking for a wee bit more of a consolation right now, I would think. You know, this is it. When it comes down to big tournaments like this, and particularly this game, we obviously, so many balls on the table, the fact you have to get to a spot to get a partner ball, this is where you get found out. You know, you get found out if you can move that cue ball and get it under control. I mean, Witt last night? Witt last night, well, I posted a link for the 10 ball World Championships, and he says, well, there's only like 4 or 5 players going to be in this at the end. I said, well, it's obviously, you know, it's more or less the same guys that are getting to the business end of these tournaments for one obvious reason. All of them move the ball better than the rest of the guys. You know, and if you haven't worked that out yet, and you're intended to play in these tournaments, then that's where you then have to get your mouse dialed in. Because one thing I can tell you is that your mouse isn't dialed in because you're not reliable enough and confident enough to move the cue ball. And once you've spent the time doing it, how many times have I said this over the years? I keep saying it. If you're thinking about moving the cue ball into an area or a particular area, and then you wonder why you can't get there, then you've never spent anywhere near enough time working with your mouse and practicing and then tweaking the mouse. Because if you do that long enough and often enough, then you will get better. That's provided you've also learnt the fundamental and the basics of how you move the cue ball and how you use the spin. That factor comes into it as well, but the better you move the cue ball, the less you have to use spin, because you're always going to get to that mark. And if Bedheads and Cobras and all these guys are getting to this late in the tournament each time around, it's simply because they do it the best out of all the other guys. I mean, Stubbs the prime example of why he can't win one of these big tournaments yet, because he can feast in matches against players like Ice Age, who he's just beaten in that last round, because there's no pressure on him to move the cue ball properly and get to the mark. He's going to get loads and loads of chances. And Stubbs' biggest problem is relying on his potting and not working on his ability to get the cue ball much better under control. Stubbs probably one of the best potters in the game, but that's all he's got at the end of it. You know, when you get down to the bare bones, Stubbs' ability is potting. The rest of it, there's not a lot there. And sooner or later, he gets found out, and his time will come. Yeah, I mean, you know, when Stubbs in a match, he'll battle. And like I said, and I said in previous times, games like 10 ball and 9 ball, that's his best chance of winning a big tournament. Because obviously there's less balls on the table for a start. And, you know, you know exactly what ball you're going for next. It's not like this game where you've got loads of factors that come into play. But 9 ball and 10 ball is always going to be Stubbs' best chance of winning a big tournament. But again, although he's been to the finals, it's still the better guy that's beaten him at the end of the day. The most consistent player throughout the tournament was Vinces. Was that the 8 ball one or was it the 10 ball one? I can't remember now. But anyway, Vinces was by far the most consistent player in that tournament. And it was still a very, very close final. And Stubb had his chance to win it. He had a 3-rack lead, I think, right down to the wire. And he still found a way to lose it. The only way Silvia was going to get anything out of this match was by playing pretty much out of her skin and potting everything she was aiming at and getting good position each time. That's the only way she was ever going to get anything in this match. But the errors have been there. The positional errors have been there. And, you know, racks have just drifted away. Bedhead's just done the business when he's had the opportunity. So the 7 ball will give him his second cribbage. I'm looking around to see where his next one's going to be. Well, there's a 9 and a 6 he can get. There's a 10 and a 5 if he can get there. So, I mean, in fact, he'll probably take the 10 and the 5 next, I would think. And then he's got the 9 and 6. Depending how he finishes here. I mean, the angle that he'll have on this 5 ball, he could check this to the rail with a wee bit of left and come back if he wants, or maybe he can just go straight to the rail and back out. Let's see what he does. Yes, he can. He didn't need to. So he can just drop the 9 in, drop through, run into the 1 ball if he wants. I don't know whether he can just stun this in, but if you want to play it safe, you just roll through it. This will take him to cribbage number 4, and then we've got 4-11, which will be the cribbage that gets him the rack. Well, no sooner have I said that than he's gone well out of shape here. Look at where he's dropped on this 4 ball. And suddenly it's gone funny. He may well have to take the 14. The safest shot's a 14 and run into the table down at the bottom here. You're at least going to have a cut in the 1 ball up table. Well, that wasn't my idea how to play it. I'll say that. I mean, that was pretty poor for Bedhead to end up there in the 1 ball. I mean, this rack was, I'd pretty much give him it. And now he's having to backtrack. And so the 2 cribbage balls are locked up. Silvia, I think's decided, right, I've had enough of this. I'm just going to have a go at this and try and run into the 11 and get lucky. I don't think there's much point in messing about. Needs a little roll of the ball. She's got it. So now everything's there to pinch the rack. Needs to get high on this 11 if that's what she's trying to play. Now she's sort of in between. Now this is fairly straightforward. You know, you confidently play the 11 ball, just run to the rail, back out. And also got to remember to play to the 15 where you can get onto the 15 again. And this is now one of these ones where the cut's into the side. So now it's about the pace of the cue ball. Now if you're cutting into the side, you go with a wee bit of top right. And, well, you can't be missing them. A wide open opportunity there. And that's another one gone. It's so tough when you're under pressure to come to the table and dish up. And on these tight pockets, you've got to get on the mark to make your life easy. And Bedhead, I think Bedhead's had 3 balls in the break about 3 or 4 times in this match. So he needs the 13, the 11, and the 1. So he's on the 13. The 1 ball's in the open, and the 11 ball's down the table. Well, how good's that as a result? I mean, every cribbage ball is available. And he's also got the 8 ball into the side. He's got the 7 ball into the side. He's got, what ball's that there? He's got the 10 into the side, the 5 down, and this rack's over. Again, he's doing the right thing. He's about to pot the cribbage ball, but he's making sure he knows where he's going next. And it looks like the 12-3, because again, that's one where there's a wide open space to get the cue ball in to get on the 3 ball. And you'd have to play a bad shot not to have a shot in the 3. So he's checked it with left English just to bring it up the line. Stay away from the 15 ball. So Bedhead is on the hill, 1 away, and this match has been on for 94 minutes. Well, Cobra said 13-5, but even that was generous at the end of the day because, let's be honest, Silvia could certainly have had more than 5 racks. but there are just far too many unforced errors, I'm afraid. And at this point in the tournament, all the remaining players who commit those sort of errors are going to be playing in their last match. And there's an example of it. So this table is at Bedhead's mercy, and he's just going to mind his business here. He can roll the 9 in down table here, or he can cut the 6 if he can see enough of it up there. I don't know whether he can get to it, and I can't be bothered going up to look, but he probably can because he's looking as if he's lining it up. Just trying to keep the cue ball in play. So the 9. Now he might want to dink back just to avoid the 4 ball. I don't know whether he can. He would ideally want to leave the 4 ball there. Yeah, he just brushed it in. So that's actually worked out nice because he was always going to try and play for that 4 and 11. And he's brushed it in and he's landed nicely on the 11. He's got an easy 1-14 to follow. He's got a 7-8 up table to follow. He's got a 13 into the side and a 2 to follow. So it's game, set, match, folks. Silvia's played her last shot. And unfortunately for her, her last shot was another unforced error. Well, I think part of the problem is sometimes a lot of players get it into their head it's who they're playing. I think that was the prime example. The prime example of that was Potman against Bedhead. Potman had it in his head that he couldn't win the match before he played it. And if you've got that mentality, then there's probably not much point you've been in the tournament because you know you're going to bump into one of these players sooner or later. So Potman, but you know he was doing similar things to Silvia, and that the consistency wasn't there. The chances were there to be taken, and he couldn't get the job done. And then he had enough of it and bailed out. So Bedhead is through by 13 racks to 3. We'll have a quick look at that bracket. And quick reminder that the match that is on the schedule is for a week tonight. That's the match between Cobra and Machine on the winner's side. We'll have a look and see where Bedhead goes. And, well, LS3 was probably already worked out that she was going to be playing Bedhead more than likely, and that is the case. And so we expect a lot more from LS3 against Bedhead. She's been playing well on this one-loss side. Had great results. Great result against Cheeky Chico, 13 racks to 4. And an even better result against Slim, 13 racks to 7, where she's been excellent. So it doesn't get any easier. If you're going to hang in there, you've got to beat the best. And Bedhead's one of the best players. So the challenge is there for LS3. I don't know whether that made an awful lot of difference to the stats. We'll have a look. And but certainly Bedhead's balls in the break stats must have jumped up because he was getting stacks of balls in the break tonight. Let's have a look. Yeah, Bedhead's jumped up to 1.4 balls in the break. He's had 9 runouts from the break. Let's have a look at that. He's actually joint top with LS3 now. And we've got One Pocket Slim, who's obviously out of the tournament, on 8. And we've got Albinario on 8. Cobra on 7. Larry on 5. Stub on 4. And then if we go to cribbage completion, we've got Albinario way out in front on 88.8%. We've got Cobra and Machine sort of neck and neck, more or less. We then drop down almost another 2% to MC Clarkey, again, who's out the tournament. Bedhead is on 80. LS3 is on 80. So there's figures there that can improve, but we all know that it's not just your ability to pop balls, it's how lucky you are in the break as well, as to whether you have those cribbage balls available if you've potted a ball in the break. And Larry's down there in 80. So I think the only other one that's still in the tournament that I can see there is, well, Stubb. He's way down in 78. So you can see Stubb's problem there is that he's the lowest out of the sort of top players that you would say. Now again, figures are different because some players have played more matches than others. So that is that. Now what we'll do now is we'll nip in and have a look at the Friday night 9-ball bracket and see how it's going. We've got Bill and Larry playing at the moment at 6-5. Let's just jump straight into that match. And I was going to say it's a scratch match, but Larry's getting the 8-ball. Bill is trying to run out to square the match. Well, LS3 should be going into that match with no fear. Absolutely no fear whatsoever. Because all you're doing is playing a table. You're not playing Bedhead. All it does, it matters is what you do when you get those opportunities. And if you can play to the same level you were playing in the last two matches, you've got no worries whatsoever. Bedhead's the one that's worried. I can guarantee you that. I'm pretty certain he was watching the match against Slim. So he'll be well aware he's expecting a challenge. And if things go your way in the break, and you get the odd bit of good luck, maybe the odd little gift from Bedhead, and you keep errors down to a minimum, then you can be well in the match to late on. But in your last two matches, you've not been well in the match to late on. You've had the match won long before late on. That's how well LS3's been playing, and if you haven't seen any of LS3's matches, go and look at those last two matches that LS3 played. They're on the playlist on YouTube if you want to get an idea how good she's been playing. Because some of you probably haven't watched the streams or missed the matches. And anyway, the mistake there was made by Bill. He miscued and gifted it to Larry in the end. Larry goes through 7 racks to 5. And Silvia's apologising to the lobby. She says, I don't know why I played total crap. Sorry to everyone who watched any of it. But you can see where the technical problems are for Silvia. The same as I've got. It's moving the cue ball. And again, I mean, Silvia actually gets more table time than I do. So she does. That's why I stick to Cowboy. Then I know I've got a chance. Anything else, no chance. So that result will go through. Now, the question is where's Spectre Dawn? And if we look at the bracket, we'll see that Larry took out Spectre Dawn. So he's... Spectre Dawn's gone home. Spectre Dawn has had an early night because he went to the one-loss side, and this guy, Fausto Cap, has taken care of Spectre Dawn. So he's gone for the night. So Spectre Dawn won't be winning it this week. We've got Ice Age, who is the guy that got beat by Stubb the other night in the cribbage tournament. The two of them are playing there at 1 rack all. The one-loss side, we've got Bill. Well, Bill's going to have a bit of a wait because Christian's playing DJ Redo. And then, of course, fantastic Mr. Fox is waiting in the winner of that. See, this is the thing. These players who don't play well are the guys that hold up the tournament, because it takes them that long to get racks done. Let's have a look at these two guys, because I don't think I've ever seen this Ice Age playing, but I've seen enough results to know that he certainly struggles a bit. I don't know what sort of level this other guy's at. Well done to Bedhead. Yeah, Larry, sticks. See, I know my limitations, Larry. There's only 4 balls on the table in Cowboy. And, well, it's not just the fact there's only 4 balls on the table. You've got to have an idea of what you're doing. So I'm pretty competitive at Cowboy. I fancy my chances in Cowboy, but that's the only thing I fancy my chances in, especially in the 10-footer, because that's what I'm well used to now. But anything else, forget it. I wouldn't even class myself as a one-trick pony now. Right, now, where are these guys from? I haven't the foggiest idea. Where's this rabbi coming from? Lebanon. And Ice Age is from Australia. Now, what the hell time is it in Australia? Let me work that out. It's 9:15 here, so that's like 3 hours to midnight. It's probably breakfast time where he is. It's Saturday morning where Ice Age is. It's probably about maybe 6 o'clock, 6:45 in the morning his time, or 6:45. Well, I can see Ice Age is going for the capo technique, which is give it a bang and see how you go. Yeah, and things like that happen. You know, it's hilarious. Just give it a slam, let the balls roll around, and in 9-ball you've always got a chance of having a sight in the next ball. Yeah, I'm afraid that Ice Age has got a lot to learn. Let's just say that. But then again, he's getting a 5-ball, so all he needs to do is get to the 5-ball, and if he can bang away and get there, he'll get the job done. Right, see you later, LS3. Good luck whenever you play Bedhead. We'll all be rooting for you. Bedhead will only have one supporter, that'll be Albinario. Albinario will be the Swedish corner. Albinario sitting there waving his little flag. Everybody rooting for LS3. You know, this is a race to 7, but I mean, what time is it now? It's 9:15. We're pretty much guaranteed to be about possibly 9:10, and we're still in this match. And this is why it will run longer than it really should. But everybody's got to get their chance. But who is going to be potting a ball and actually trying to think about the next ball? Let's see what Rabbi does here. That's not going to get to the hole for a start. And again, absolutely nowhere in the 3-ball. So both of these players And Icy's not even making the cut. So both these players are really, really at a loss as to what they're trying to achieve here. And this is where we're looking at players who, again, we don't know what age group they're in, right? So we have to be respectful of that fact. They could be quite young, they could be quite old, they might not play in real life, but they most certainly have got a lot to learn. Now again, with this 4-ball, all you do is cut the 4-ball and just bring the cue ball off the rail and out. He's looking at the 6, he's got nothing to do with the cue ball other than make the cut and run to the rail and come out. And he's overhit that by a country mile. So, control of the pace of the cue ball, part and parcel of the fact that, again, at the risk of repeating myself, players pick up this game and they play it and they've never touched the mouse settings. They've never so much as looked at them. Well, that was a good recovery shot. And again, it's simple enough. Drop the 7 in because Rabbi needs all the balls because it's his opponent that's got the 5-ball and the 5-ball's already gone. So all you're doing is rolling this in, simple enough, nothing to do. Roll it in, get straight in that 8-ball into the side, bump it in and come down. You see he's going around the corner because he's not thinking about what he's doing. Simple as that. It's a simple thing about not actually thinking. He's thinking he has to get this cue ball around to play a shot in another pocket when all he had to do was drop through. And this is how players make life so difficult for themselves, and they never, you know, find that consistency, and they have to dig out pots like that to try and stay at the table. Now this to square the match. Well, he's found a way out, but there are easier ways to do it, my friend. That's all I'm going to say. I think this is dry. Nope, 4-ball gets kicked in. Little bump off the 3-ball. Now this again, just a gentle cut in the 1. And maybe a wee bit of help and spin just to try and get into the gap between the 6 and the 7. Now why he didn't cut into the side I don't know. Because that was probably the shot. The gap between the 6 and 7 was easy enough to get to make the pot in the 2. And we're going to fluke the 8-ball here. And now, is it a thin cut in the 1 or is it just a capo bang? Yeah, he's gone for the cut. Well done. And he's got a shot in the 2. Now, all he's got to do is pot the 2, the 3 and the 5. And it's back into the lead. And again, even shots like this, you've got to be careful with this level of player. And he's making sure he's not going to scratch. So he's put a little bit of bottom on it there. At least he knew to do that. And that 5-ball money ball comes in very handy. Well, this one is dry. And I said there previously, this could go on to 10 past 9, 10 past the hour. So the little combo gets Rabbi started. Nothing to do with the cue ball to go on the 2, but again, all he has to do is drop the 2 in with a little cut, come back up the table, 3 into the side. Problem there though is that doing that, he has to be short on the 3. Now this is where players have to be thinking about their position. Now he's short on the 3, that's perfect. Now again, all you're doing is rolling the 3 in and rolling through to the rail. But hopefully off the rail. There's nothing you need to do other than pot this 3 and just roll through. And ideally you want to be off the rail so that you can just dig into the cue ball and hold for the 4 and 5. You just need to slow up here. Well, that's fine. You just want to run forward and make sure you're not running into the 5, and that's easily avoided. And that's fine. So everything's going according to plan here. Now with this shot, it's a little there's nothing you need to do with the cue ball again. You just got to make the cut and let the cue ball run. So again, it's just judging the pace. The angle's there. You're stuck to the rail. You've nothing to do other than pot it and let it run. I think it's got a wee bit of spin on it. Oh shit, I never noticed the 9 ball there. I never noticed the 9. I should have probably looked at the table there. I never noticed the 9. I was too busy looking at his next ball, forgot the bloody 9 ball. And that wasn't the place to put it when you're trying to run the table. Well, he's got to go for the combo. Or is he going for the bank? No, he's going for the combo. And, well, I wouldn't be going for any combo here. I'd go for the thin little billiard. That's dead easy. The little edge of the 6, brush that, brush the 9. The 9's got to go in. Well, he's played the combo his way. I would have played the little billiard. But it's a 2-rack lead for Ice Age. And going back to the bracket, Larry's still sitting there waiting, and Larry's going to be given a stack to whoever he plays here. He's going to be given, 6 and out, I would think, at least, to both of these guys. Probably not far off it. You've got Rabbi on 2,098, so they'll be getting generous enough handicaps, which Larry has to be careful of. That needs to bounce a lot more off the rail. Now, anybody who may have joined the stream, just so that you know, the 10 ball or the VP4 10 ball World Championships, the sign-ups are now open, although there isn't a link to the tournament page up on the home page yet, because Steve's forgotten to do it. I've always got to bloody well remind him to do this. He should have had that up by now, but it's not there. But I've got the link, and at least I think I have. Let me just try this. And the link is in the lobby if you want to sign up. It starts at the 31st of August. Well, I'll put in the other link for the match that's already finished, but that doesn't matter. And there's room for 64 spots, and there's at least a dozen people in already. A little billiard off the 9 there for Rabbi. And he should be home and dry to get it back to within 1. There, a result through. Christian's gone through against DJ Redo. 4 racks to 2. I think my prediction's going to come true. This is going to be a good 10 minutes past the hour before this is finished. 1 ball in the break. 2 balls dead. That's not going anywhere. Well, if this was Larry at the table, I'd be saying, well, this should be over this rack. And Ice Age, with this 3 ball, he's running away from the 4. Well, that's a good enough shot. Wrong side of the 4, but loads of room to pot it. And come back down the table for this 5. Now, he has to avoid the 9. No, he's went for the cut. That was a good shot. Because he could have took that into the side, but he took the shot that was going to give him better position. So that shows a bit of thought there. And that 5 ball money ball comes in very handy. Well, it might not get to 10 past 9 because he's now in the hill. And all of a sudden, I mean, early on there, I think Ice Age was banging at balls. He seems to have stopped the banging of the balls and actually tried to pot them. Well, this is a lifeline for Rabbi. And he obviously has to run the table to survive. Any mistake now, you'd think it's pretty much all over. Yeah, I mean, these players, again, it's so easy to sit here and be critical. You know, it's easy to spot where things go wrong, simply because, you know, a lot of the times there's shots they could be playing, but it's not in their armoury. And that's just, you just put it down to simple table time and whether they're prepared to learn, take things on board, whether they pay attention to what the better players are doing, whether they ever ask a question. You know, if you want to learn, the information is there. People are willing to help. But anyway, Ice Age has gone through, and he will now play Larry. And Rabbi goes through to that one lost side. Let's have a look and see how that happens, because obviously results have to happen for things to move on. And One Pocket Slim is going to have to deal with Rabbi next. And again, he'll be giving him a fairly generous handicap. We've seen how the handicap affected Spectre Dawn. Spectre Dawn was given the 5 ball to Fausto Cap, and Fausto Cap won it. So clearly, either Spectre Dawn was making mistakes, or Fausto Cap was running balls up to the 5 ball, one of the two. But anyway, Slim's going to have to be careful, because Rabbi is getting the 6 ball. And we've now got Christian playing Mr. Fox, and Christian's getting 5 and out. And both of them, of course, are a race to 4. And Bill's still waiting on the winner of that match, which has just started. And then, of course, on this winner's side, we've got the hot seat match. And Larry is up against Ice Age, who is getting 6 and out, which is very dangerous. So we'll nip in. Larry at the table. And Larry obviously won the lag and broke off. And, well, pretty certain he's going to be hitting the 5 ball. Where that's going to finish up, nobody knows. Don't know whether he can avoid hitting that 5. He's got to make the pot. And he's just got to chance his arm that he'll have a shot in the 5. And this is why, well, he's managed to avoid it. And how is his luck? It's testy because it's an awkward angle and he's close to the 5. And this is exactly where things can go wrong with a 6 and out handicap. He's looking it into the side. You know, Larry only needs to miss this ball and he's losing the rack probably. But he's got it. Now Larry's got to be getting this cue ball right up the table as far as he dare, because what he doesn't want to do is have to pot this 8 ball and run down the table and back up for the 9 if he can help it. So the more he gets into the cue ball and the further up he gets here, the easier it's going to be. Now, is he going to just nurse this in? I think he might. I think he might just dink this along the rail, but the cue ball's going to end up here. Or thereabouts, so he shouldn't be missing this. So first blood to Larry. And it was a break and run. Good start. But the next one has come up dry. And this table is sitting very good. And Ice Age has missed the one. And that could be fatal in this rack. Larry with ball in hand. All the balls there. Everything's got a pocket. And this is where the basics of the game come into play. The basics of moving the cue ball, getting on that next ball in such a way that you can get on the ball to follow. And Larry's fine on the 3. You just got to watch the pace though, coming across the table. He doesn't want to go really inside this 4 ball. When I say inside, I'm talking about inside that way. He wants to be sort of in the table. And that bounce looks a good pace, and that'll do nicely. Because then he's got choices as to what he does. If he wants to, he can go forward and come down. He can come back and still hold a reasonable enough line. He looks as if he's going to go forward because you've got loads of room to run. It wants to slow up a bit because this now makes it slightly dodgy. Because now he's in between. Now, the shot he wants to play is in the corner because he's going to the rail and coming out for the 6. That's the shot. Oh, wait a minute here. Wait a minute here. Ice Age says, apologies guys, but I have an emergency situation that has come up here and I'm going to have to forfeit loser side as well. Thanks for the game. Sorry once more. And Ice Age is gone. So he's had to leave. Larry goes through. And that saves a bit of time, with the greatest of respect. I hope it's not a serious emergency. But Larry's through to the final, so now we can focus on the one loss side. And if we look at the match that's underway, we've got Christian with 5 and out against Mr. Fox in the race to 4. No, that wasn't the final. That was a match to see who got through to the final. So Larry's going to have a wait now. He can go and have a coffee or a beer or whatever he wants. And Mr. Fox has gone into the lead. We've got all these matches here to go, and whoever gets through to this Ice Age match, they're going to go through because he's forfeiting that match as well. So again, that will cut short the amount of waiting time that Larry's got. We've got Slim underway against Rabbi. Slim's 1-0 in front. Well, I'm thinking I'm in your corner, Larry. I'm thinking that you want the least amount of time you have to sit around. You've probably looking at this one loss side. You've probably got another 45 minutes to wait, possibly at least, before you're going to have a match, because this match is going to take 10 minutes to time out for a start. You've got the winner of the match we're watching to go through and play Bill, and then you've got the winner of Slim to go through, and then you've got that match to play. Then you've got the time out to wait on in that match. Yep, I would say probably, what's it now, 9:10. I reckon it could be maybe 10 minutes to 10 before the final starts. So I would do whatever you have to do. Meanwhile, Christian is locked up, and Mr. Fox should be on the hill. Well, this match is going to be over fairly rapidly. And of course, Mr. Fox cannot make any silly mistakes here, because every ball is a money ball for Christian, but it's very unlikely that's going to happen. Now, I think he wants to come back off this 8 ball, or does he want to chicken out and leave the long cut? Yeah, you see, he's went for the stun. And that's the thing with Virtual Pool 4. If you play what you would call the right shot, which is to stun that ball in and come back for the 9, then you're always at risk. If you get the pace and you don't get the line right, you're going to rattle in these pockets, and it's a total gift for your opponent. And he should have chickened out and just played the long cut, because you know that these tables give you nothing with a firm shot offline. There's no give in these corner pockets. And that's a gift for Christian. And that's what happens when you make the unforced error and you're given 5 and out to the opponent. But any day of the week, that's a shot you would play, because you've got the angle there to cut that 7 ball, stun it in, get a little bit of back on the cue ball and come off the rail and head back up towards the 9. So it's not that Mr. Fox played the wrong shot, he played the right shot, but just the wrong line. And meanwhile, Mr. Fox has given Christian another gift here, and this 7 ball combo with the 2 ball is going to give him the lead. Now, this is not hard. I mean, this is just a simple cut in the 2 ball. Oh, in fact, he's got ball in hand, he hadn't moved it. Well, why is he not getting into a line? Because I'll tell you why. Because he's still to play the 1 ball. I've fallen asleep. Forget what I'm saying. My brain's gone. I'm thinking it's cribbage. It's 9 ball we're watching. I have to say, play the 2-7 combo. Oh, Jesus. Oh. I'll tell you, if you want to laugh, start watching the stream after 8:30 on a Friday night, because my brain is gone. And what's worse about it is Christian never got a ball to a rail. Well, that one ball's going to stay there. And there's enough at the edge of the one for Mr. Fox to cut it in, come down to the bottom half of the table, but not too far down. He wants to stay in the middle of the table so he can see the two. He doesn't want to end up down here. This is suddenly got ugly. Well, the obvious shot here is just to kill the cue ball and lock it behind the 8 and hope the 3 ball doesn't go in. Well, he's gone all out for the bank. And, well, you never know. If Christian gets the cut in the 3 and gets lucky in the 4, and the 3's gone in, and, well, he's going to have to go for the bank. And that's way, way too much the wrong line for the bank. He was cutting that far too much. Mr. Bill ran 7 and out against Mooncake. 7 racks, you say, Larry? What, a ball in every break and a shot? That's a bloody miracle in virtual pool 4. Well, Bill's finding his form at the right time. If he's going to play in the 10 ball, he might fancy his chances. Now here's another little testy one. You know, do you stun this in? Yeah, he's got it clean this time. Oh, let me have a look. Let me have a read at that. What does it say? Mooncake won the lag and had only 1 shot the whole match. Oh dear. I wish I'd been watching that. Where's the cue ball going? In fact, where is he?
Where's the cue ball going?
That's the one I was looking for. So, the scratch from Mr. Fox. Christian with ball in hand. Let's have a look. Now, why is he not sticking the cue ball on that 1 ball and playing the 1-6 combo? Was he trying to be generous here? Why the hell's he not comboing that 6 ball? Because he ain't going to run this to the 5 ball. Let's be honest. I mean, look where the 3 ball is. He should have played the bloody combo. He might prove me wrong and actually run these balls. But he should have been playing the combo there. I mean, if he expects to run out here. It'll be a good run out, and it may well be that's his last shot. So just a little cut in the 4, cue ball naturally out into the table. A little draw back off the 5. I mean, the only thing he has to worry about is having a decent angle in the 6 to make it easy to go in the 7. And then the old golden rule is don't leave yourself straight in the 7. Don't leave yourself like that. This has to spin, and he's almost got there. But it's another one of these little testy ones. They don't look that difficult. You get any nudge onto that knuckle, and he's played the bank, not risking it. More comfortable with the bank shot, so this for the match. And there you go again, the old big stun and the big rattle. And I've hit the wrong button again. I was trying to hit that button. And all of a sudden, we've got a tied match and anything can happen. I would have thought 7's now the record. It must be a record by a margin, because I don't think I've seen anybody run more than 3. I mean, and we're talking about actual breaking runs. We're not talking about just winning 7 racks in a row with umpteen chances. We're talking about clean, proper, like a pro 7 breaks and runouts. And meanwhile, Mr. Fox, well, this is dodgy because this cue ball's heading towards the 6 ball here, but he should still have a shot in the 5. He may well miss the 6. Yes, he's missed it. And anything but straight again. He's got a nice little angle. And he's trying to get straight again on this 6 ball. He's still got something to work with. He can spin it forward and off the bottom railing out if he wants. That's probably where he's going. But let's have a look at this. Now he needs to be careful here on how much he gets into this cue ball. The angle's taken towards the middle pocket. He's killed it. Same again though, it's one of these punchy shots to get the cue ball out for the 9. And this time he's home and dry. So this could have been a lot simpler for Mr. Fox. He made it hard work, giving those gifts to Christian. But he does go through. So Mr. Fox is through. And let's see how that goes. So we've now got Bill and Mr. Fox playing. Meanwhile, Slim is tied 3-all. Well, we're going to dive in. We might catch the end of this match. And Slim giving the 6 ball to Rabbi. And Slim's now at the point of no return because he can't afford to miss anything here or he's losing the match. Well, he doesn't want to get near this 9 ball and be hampered. And he is. And now he's just got to knock this in, get the cue ball out and leave it long. Right, now what's the safest shot here? Well, the safest shot is just to pot this 8 ball, run to the rail and back out. Loads of room, shouldn't be any problem whatsoever. Just make sure you get high enough. If anything, you overhit it. and that way you make sure you're there. So you put a bit of spin on it, and well, unless he makes a complete hash of this, it's Slim that goes through it. And we will immediately jump into the match between Mr. Fox and Bill. In fact, the room's not even up yet. It's not shown in the bracket. Let's just go into it from the lobby. In fact, that's why it's not up, because there's only one player in. Now, while that's happening, I'll be back in a minute, because I'm going to have to deal with this bladder problem I've got. I'll be with you in a second. Oh, just back in time. The two players have just lagged off. Mr. Bill has won the lag. He breaks off, couple of balls in the break, landed plumb in the one, and it's all about getting on the two ball. And this rack is over. Yeah, Bill's got his touch. Just a tiny bit shorter on the two than he might have wanted to be, but he's got a gap there to get on this three ball. The only way it'll go wrong is if he hooks himself behind the four. He wants to watch that knuckle. He wants to watch the knuckle. Oh, it's done him a favour. Bill went berserk mode against me. He played almost to perfection. Messed up a few positional shots, but only rarely. Yeah. Yeah, unicorn heads it is. I've got a couple of unicorn heads track. There's a few of them on YouTube's audio library. There's loads of free music on it. Most of it's crap. And quite a few of them, although they're copyright free, you've got to actively put credit into your stream. I don't. With the ones I've got, you don't have to do anything. It automatically puts it onto the stream. So when you go and look at any of my recent videos, you'll see that the links to the music that's played during the stream will show up in the stream info. So Bill starting where he's left off, 1-0 up. Now, how did Bill end up in the one loss side anyway? I'm not been paying any attention to the bracket. Bill, Larry beat him. Larry's been meaning business tonight. So Bill trying his damnedest to get revenge. And of course, now looking at the bracket, a quick reminder to anybody who missed it, we've got Slim now waiting to play the winner of the match that we're watching, and then we'll have a 10-minute timeout until the Ice Age match times out, because Ice Age is gone for the night. Now, what does he do here? Loads of right-hand English just to check the cue ball and kill it. And it's 2-0. Now, has Bill been listening to Steve? Is maybe that what's been happening to Bill? Because Bill, I noticed there, I don't think Bill's ever been in the habit of breaking off the kitchen line, and that's one thing I noticed there. Bill broke from like here, well inside the kitchen, rather than most players lining up on the line and going from either side. Bill was from like there, so we'll keep an eye on that. I'll tell a lie, it wasn't. It was Mr. Fox, was it? Or did Bill come up dry? Now somebody was paying attention there. Was it Bill that? Was it Bill that broke there, Larry? Because I'm waffling away here. I was watching. I just caught my eye as to where the cue ball went in the kitchen, and I wasn't really paying that much attention. I'm sure it was Bill because he was 2-0 up. It was Bill breaking. One time, aye, it was. So that's something to keep an eye on, and I wonder if Larry will get that idea and maybe try it when he gets to play in the final. We'll see if Larry's taking anything on board and maybe vary the break a wee bit, especially if the break doesn't work. Because that was the thing Steve mentioned in the stream the other night. Rather than trying the centre break, down the line in the cribbage tournament and left and right breaks, what about trying the cue ball in different positions within the kitchen rather than just left and right? Giving yourself a longer break rather than the usual shorter break from the actual line itself. Well, Mr. Fox has got himself in bother here. He's pretty much sold this out if he doesn't keep it safe, which he will do. Yeah, that's the thing. You can play the, you can plant the rock or whatever it is they say in American pool by, jacking it up higher. We in virtual pool, the angle that we break in virtual pool isn't as high as the angle that the pros are breaking in real life, or most people are breaking in real life, and that's how you get that stop in the cue ball. The only risk you take in VP4 is banging it with the amp on and jacking up too high, and the cue ball bounces into the pack and hits the top of the one ball and then bounces off the table. So you've got to get that fine line by how high you get the angle in the cue. But it does work. But you don't have the butt angle guide like you do in the offline to keep the number at the same number each time. To get that stop break where the cue ball comes off the pack and then it just bumps down onto the bed of the table and dies, provided it doesn't get kicked by another ball, that is. And that's where you're keeping that cue ball central in the table so that it's giving yourself the best chance of having some sort of shot. And the other thing I forgot to mention is that Mr. Fox is getting the 8 ball as his extra money ball. He's off the mark. And the Cardinal sin. He's scratching the break. And ball in hand for Bill. And this, the one ball's simple enough. Roll it in. But leave yourself a nice, decent angle in the 2. Because he's got a bit of travelling to do to come down for the 3. Let's see how he gets this done. The pace is perfect. Nice little bounce and a little angle. Now, this is dangerous because you know that you can easily go forward and inside. But you've got to watch these two object balls here, because they're the ones that can cause you grief. And he's put right into the gap. That's the thing with that break. If you don't, I don't know. I mean, Steve took out. My biggest grouse is the fact that he took out the butt angle in online, which is so it means that the online game's not the same as the offline game. Anybody that says that it is, then it's not, because that's one simple thing that's not in the game that it is in offline. And so when you come online, if you've been well used to doing that in the offline game, you come online, then everything's just a guess. But we've seen how well Bill has perfected his jump shots, so it's never affected Bill in that way, in using the butt angle as a guide. But it's certainly a help on the break. In fact, there's a suggestion: why not have the butt angle option in the game, but it's in the game for the break only, just to help you guide the setting that you use to get that break. There's nothing much unfair about that. It's your choice whether you want to break with a higher butt angle or not, and then the consequences are either good, bad, or ugly. I'll leave that up to one of you guys to suggest that to Steve, because he won't listen to me. Well, I suppose it's like muscle memory, isn't it, Larry? You just know by looking at the table or looking at the way you're set up and against the ball if you're trying to jump. It's pretty much autopilot for a lot of players that jump a lot, especially for Bill. Well, there's a mistake there by Bill, and Bill's got away with it. On the hill, and Mr. Fox comes to the table with not really a shot as such, knowing that if he doesn't keep this 5-ball safe, it's sayonara. Is he going to go all out for it, or is he going to try and keep it safe? He's trying to keep it safe, and I don't think he's made that bad an effort at it either. That's pretty good. Now, Bill could kick this in. There's a strong chance it would, and Bill's not looking. He's not even looking at the kick. Well, I'm surprised at that. I mean, okay, if he goes for it and he misses it, it's likely he'll lose the rack. And he's, at the end of the day, he's actually played not a bad safety though. But the kick looked pretty good to me to kick that into the side pocket. There was room past the 9, and he never even gave it a second thought. Well, it would be an unfair advantage to advanced players to have the butt angle option on the break in VP4 online. I don't think it would. I think that if there was a setting in VP4 online that you could put the butt angle option on, it's there for the break, and then as soon as the break's been played, then it's not there anymore. What difference does it make? I don't think it would make a great deal of difference, but it might help some players who come online and discover that it's not there. I mean, it might be a slim reason as to why some players come online and see that it's not there, and then they think, "Oh, that's no good. And they don't like it for that reason. I don't know. I mean, that isn't to say that if you suddenly put the butt angle option on in the break and online that suddenly there'll be 100 people in the lobby. That's never going to happen. The Kiblitz thing, the thing I was talking about, or the Kisbits, or whatever the hell it's called. Especially with those bloody balls spinning. Well, anyway, Bill's got himself through by 4 racks to 1. And it's now Bill and Slim. I wonder if Bill knows. I think they're both in the room. I'll tell them in the room just in case, whether they know or they don't know. Well, I've told the guys anyway, in case Bill doesn't know or Slim doesn't know. I don't know whether they do, but they do now. Well, I'll tell you, I like to break in 9-ball sometimes with a higher butt angle, but as I say, with not being there. Well, let's put it this way. Let's look at it from another point of view. The answer to this question is yes or no. I'll use SVB as an example, but it could be any professional pool player. Does Shane Van Boning break at the same angle every time? Or does he change it in terms of how his butt angle is when he's breaking? Because to me, that's a mechanical thing for the pros. And how, where they're holding the cue, how they're bridging with the cue, and how they're breaking. To me, that is, it's a mechanical thing in terms of how they're standing and addressing the table. So to me, then, the angle is pretty much the same all the time that the guys are breaking. I mean, they break, millions of times over the years. So I'm assuming that they're breaking at the same butt angle each time, which is higher than what most people break in VP4. Now, if we then had the butt angle guide, that means that we would be breaking at the level that we want each time, and we know it's at that level each time. How's that unfair? It doesn't give you any unfair advantage over the other player, because the other player has that choice. He can either have the butt angle guide on or have it off, and if it's on for the break, but it's not on for the rest of the rack. Dare anybody mention that to Steve? Do you think I'll be brave enough to mention it to him? So as you guys can tell me if you think that the pros break at the same angle each time, and or whether that changes a lot. Steve will probably just laugh at me if I mention it. That's a good little safety by Slim. Now let's look at this 6-ball. Well, the 6-ball will go, but it's one of these ones where you've got to get good on it to have any chance of that getting in. This is a scratch match, no handicap, race to 4. And Bill trying the old jumperoonie. And executed to perfection. Well, we all know where the problem was going to be. The problem was always going to be to get good in the 6, and Bill has got no chance of this going in. And so he's just playing the safety. Let's have a look at what Slim's going to risk here. Well, Slim's just going to brush off that and skim past the 9. And Bill's got a feather edge of this 6 ball, but he's got to be careful. And the reason I'm saying he's got to be careful is that how he bounced that 6 off the rails, very dangerous to be leaving a combo down into this corner. And now this is slightly tougher because Bill has got barely a cigarette paper of that 6 ball to see, and the chances are he'll skim the 9 or miss it altogether. This is really wafer thin, and there you go. And what's more, he set up the combo. Well, the commentator's eye called it. It's not perfect, but it should be easy enough to make. Although I don't know what Slim's doing here. Why is he not bringing the cue ball back a bit to try and make the combo? What the hell is he doing? Well, in it goes. So the mistake was made by Bill, setting up the combo. Slim gets first blood. And the 6 ball thought about going in. It hasn't done. The break is dry, and Bill will cut that 1 ball onto the 6. The problem now, though, is where the 1 ball ends up. And the inevitable has happened. Easy kick. Now, he can get this right. He could end up behind the 3 ball. Oh, he's hit it. He's hit it thin. And that 1 ball will pass the 3. It's fairly tight. I mean, at this angle, it's a lot more difficult. But the cue ball's going in the right direction to go into the 2. I don't think he needs to worry about that. He just has to be 100% focused on the 1 itself. And suddenly the 3 balls doubled in size. And he's well away from it, but he's taking too much. Oh, this is tough. Bill's dead straight in the 1, and all he can do is come back off it. And he's got a bit of left on it to try and just dink it over and take this 2 into the side, but he's caught the jaw. And now he's got to go forward and out for the 3. And where's it going this time? It's not bad. Pretty good. This is a big test. I mean, it's a straightforward draw off the 3 ball. The angle that's coming off the 3 sort of down that direction. But it might be a bit straighter depending on the line he's taking. Aye, it is. It's coming that direction. And he's just overdone it by about 3 millimetres. And that's a total mess. Well, that's given Slim ball in hand for a 2-0 lead here. Slim got himself dead straight, so he could only leave the roll in. Well, he can run this cue ball. He doesn't need to try and hold the cue ball. He's fine. Yeah, he's played the bank instead. So Bill's got his work cut out now. Slim's breaking from where the cue ball appears. The 2 ball, well, it was heading to the pocket, but the 6 got in the way. And now Bill is left with a 1-2-6 combo to get started. And again, absolutely no idea whether he's going to be having a shot in this one. And the answer to that there is no, he isn't. And the problem here is that he can't really get the 1 ball away. So he was making sure he wasn't leaving a combo, but he may well have left a billiard here anyway. It's a fairly straightforward billiard. A little chip off the 1, scrape the 1, cut the 2, but he might need to do this a bit further. I'll tell you why, because he has to get away from that 7 and 8 ball, and he's not risking it. He's preferring to put Bill in deeper trouble here, and that has got Bill up the proverbial creek without a paddle. Let's see you get out of this, Bill. In fact, I would bump the 7 and 8 ball up the table. You know why? Well, maybe that was actually a better idea, because I wouldn't want to keep those balls very close, because it's then making you vulnerable to the 3 fouls. Well, this is a very narrow window to roll past that 8 ball. Needs to miss the knuckle, and he's got the hit, but that's now freed up the 1. It's opened to 2, and Slim can now go for the kill for the 3rd rack. I wonder if Steve's there. I wonder if he's there. Let me have a look, see if we can get a hold of him. Hang on a minute. Well, Steve said he wasn't going to be around, so he might not be around, but we'll see whether he gives me a reply. No, I'm not getting any reply at the moment. So it's just to save these guys having to wait, or well, it's looking like Slim's going to go through. It's just to save Slim waiting, but Steve's not available by the look of it. I'm getting a cold shoulder. It'd be far easier for Steve just to forfeit Ice Age, and then we can get on with the final. So Slim on the hill. No reply from Steve. He's not there. So it looks as if, in fact, there's nobody else here. There's not another person here that can get into the tournament system. So we're just going to have to bide our time. So Slim is through. The combo on the 9 seals the deal. Bill, well, he didn't really get into it at all, but it's such a short race. It's, you know, if you don't get into it straight away, it's a struggle. So Slim through, 4 racks to 0. Quick look and confirmation that we've got one pocket Slim against Ice Age, and now we're going to have to sit around scratching their backsides for 10 minutes. There's nobody else here. And Ice Age is definitely gone. Right, let me try something else. Let me try something else here. I'll see if I can get a hold of... wonder if Simon's in his bed. I've sent a message to Simon. Well, he's sending me a reply. So I've asked Simon to forfeit Ice Age. We'll see if Simon's going to log in and get that done, and then it saves the guys hanging about, and I can get to bed sooner. Right. We'll see if that comes through. I'll go in. Are you listening in the stream, Slim? Yeah, I've asked Simon to forfeit Ice Age. I'm assuming he's logging in to do that. I hope he does, because the quicker he gets that done, the quicker we get on with things, and the less time you have to sit waiting around, and we can get the final done. That's Simon's job done for the night. Right, so the final room should go up if everything goes according to plan, and then we can get on with it. Save Larry and Slim hanging about. Slim's away back into the room. It's a spectator now. Maybe that's broken the room. Let's see. I'll probably. Ah, there we go. That's us. So the lag for the break has been won by Slim. Race to 9 in the final, and it's a scratch match. And this is to see who takes Spectre Dodge's title of Friday Night 9-ball champion. Oh, just a cut in the one, bring the cue ball across off the opposite rail back into the table for the 2. Now that is actually almost perfect. He's just probably a bit too straight on the 2, but he's just having a look at the cut angle on the 4. He would ideally have liked a little angle to drop that in and run the cue ball that way, but he's just having to take his medicine and make sure he just get the pot done and leave the cut. But he's going to then come up the table for the 5 down into this other corner pocket, so that's fine. And again, with this shot, you've just got to make sure you go far enough through for the 6. You don't want to be sitting here in the 6. You want to be there. And again, he's just gone straight. I mean, the little delicate shot here is just dropping through for the 7. Yeah, he's just straight. Yeah, he's managed to pinch a little bit just to make sure he didn't go straight through into the pocket. And that's perfect in the 8-ball because it's a little stud down for the 9. It looks like that, or can he go forward? No, he's going to stun down. The angle's perfect for that. So, Slim off the mark. And a couple of balls in the break. Oh, that 7-ball, I think, has just covered enough of this 1-ball, has it? Yes, it has. So the 4 and the 5-ball have gone. Slim just plays the push out. And nothing on for Larry. But he's got to make sure that this 1-ball goes back towards the 7. Back towards the 8, sorry. Yeah, he hasn't got it back far enough. That's the problem with that shot. He had to make sure he got it back far enough. Because I think even if he got covered behind the 2 and 3, it was still going to be an easy enough jump for Slim. And of course, if Larry hit that hard enough to get that ball back to the 8, the cue ball was running further around the table. So Slim with a great chance to consolidate his good start with this opportunity. And I think let's just double check this 6-ball. 6-ball's fine. So the mistake was made by Larry, not keeping the object ball safe. Slim taking full advantage. for a 2-0 lead. And I think that's either the 4 or the 8 ball, but I can't be bothered getting out my seat to look. But I think it's the 8 ball. Still spinning. And the break is dry. And once again, though, from the dry break, Larry's got nothing here to go at. Well, he's played, presumably he was playing the bank onto the 5. Had a good effort at it, and I'll tell you something else though, the cue ball's a good result. Because I think that's pretty tight on that 7 ball. Yeah, that's a foul. 7 ball has moved. So now Larry, well, I think he got a little bit of roll of the ball there, the fact that the cue ball ended up nailed to the 7, but he's got a wee bit of work to do here to get out. Let's have a look at this 3 ball. 3 ball goes. The 3 ball is fine, as long as he's good on it. Now, from where he is in this 2 ball, there's no reason whatsoever that he shouldn't get good on this 3, because he wants to be within the dot line. That'll do fine. It gives him the best chance just to maybe cheat the pocket slightly. Yeah, he's tried to stun, and Larry's fell into the trap. That deserves a... And he had to stop the cue ball to still have a shot in the 4. That was the problem with that shot. You know, he couldn't just roll that in and let the cue ball roll forward, because then he would have ended up having no shot in the 4. So he had to play the little stun, but it was tight. And again, that's a foul. That might have fouled the 8 ball there, Slim. We'll soon find out. Yes, it is. That deserves another one of them. So Larry's got out of jail, at least for the time being, because, well, he's got a 5 ball that he's got to get off of this down onto the 6 so that he can play this 7-9 combo. And that needs to get off the rail, and it has done. Now he can dink this in, but he's got to get a little jabby stun draw off this. And he's played it well. And there's absolutely no way that Larry can miss this. Not a hope in hell that he can miss this 9. So Larry's in the match. And Slim will be kicking himself there, because he cocked up, caught the other ball first, gave Larry that final lifeline that he needed in this rack to get himself up and running. And Larry's had the 2 ball in the break. He's got a cut in the 1. He should be on the 3. Let's have a look at this 4 ball. Well, he's got nothing to do with the cue ball other than get himself in a decent enough line in the 4. Now again, ideally he would want the cue ball to be about there if he could, because that way it's an angle to pot the 4, come back off it and leave a cut in the 5. It's not quite as simple as it looks. Let's have a look at what he's got. Well, he's maybe just got enough to come down inside, and I think he was maybe trying to squeeze a bit more than was there for him, and he's pushed that to the short rail first. And well, Slim will be looking to exact revenge in this rack, make up for the last one. And it all hinges on just getting on the 6 ball. It looks so easy right in the middle of the table. And well, he's not really quite got there. I mean, he's got it up into the top pocket. He's got the thin cut, and in goes the cut. Back off the 7 for the 8 into the same pocket, but he's dead straight in the 7. So again, any slight angle either inside or that way, he's fine. He's just got to get the big stun working. And it just makes life a wee bit more awkward, but he's fine. So he's now back into that 2-rack lead. 3 ball goes in, 6 ball goes in. 1 ball is in play. 2 ball right in the middle of the table, and Slim should be stretching his lead here. Now anybody who's happened to stumble across this stream, if anybody's still awake or somebody's been joined the stream and been keeping quiet, this is not what you're looking at, what you actually see on the screen. That's from the match we had earlier on in the VP4 Cribbage World Championships. What we're watching here is Friday night 9 ball was on, and this is this week's final between Larry from the USA and Slim from the USA. A race to 9, and Slim looks very likely to be opening up a 3-rack gap here. Well, Larry might be getting his chance now if that 3 ball would stay out the way. And it hasn't, has it? Oh yes, it has. So Slim's break is dry. Larry's got a wide open one. Well, that needed to get back up to about there. Again, just to make it more comfortable. I mean, the problem with this is you're playing the pot, the cue ball's coming off the rail. You just got to watch the pace and that you don't go too square on the 3. That's not bad. Now, once again, does he want to just roll this in and leave the long 4? Because if you do that, you might end up too straight to make it easy to get in the 5. Well, he's checked that with left hand English. The angle's there in the 4. And again, it's got to be punched in to get the cue ball off the rail and back across for this 5. And that's not a bad result because the 5's comfortably off the rail and it's just about potting the 5. He's always going to be seeing the 6 ball. 7 is exactly the same. It's comfortably off the rail, but it now hinges on not finishing straight in the 7. Anything but straight in the 7 is the rule here. And I think Larry's just got himself a little angle. The horrible shot is when you're bolt straight on that 7. Now again, the angle on the 8 is perfect because you're dropping it in and the cue ball's just dropping its natural path and you're fine in the 9. I mean, that's how life gets so much easier when you're playing any type of pool game. If you get that cue ball on the right spot, then everything else is automatic. You're having to do nothing with the cue ball other than let the cue ball take its natural path off the object ball and you're on the next ball. And suddenly life is so simple. So Larry's got himself where he wants. He's got himself a 2nd rack in the board. He's potted 8 ball in the break. He's got a thin cut in the 1 and he needs to watch the hit on the 5 here. It could kill him stone dead. Or he could... Well, he's trying to make sure he can get out to see the 2. And he hasn't. He actually banked to 5 in at the same time. And now he's trying to run for cover here, I think. Is he playing the cross bank? Looks as if he is. because you can only see one half of the 2-ball, nowhere near enough to pot it. Yeah, he's gone all out for it. But the cue ball, of course, running loose, has found the inevitable. And, well, again, the guys at this level, we expect them to run out. Plenty of room for the 4 to go past the 9 into this left-hand bottom corner pocket. He's just gone slightly the wrong angle in the 4, so he's just rolling through and avoids getting hampered by the 9. So once again with this shot, he needs to go forward and out far enough to make the angle shallower in the 8, which he hasn't managed to do a great deal. And now he's got to push this in and either leave the high cut or go 2 rails, so he's going to leave the higher cut. Again, comfortably off the rail, so should never be missing this. And the 3 rack gap is there again. And Slim has a 6 in the break, a shot in the 1, and it needs to go far enough through in this 2 so that he can drop down for the 3. And he's going to have to leave the high cut again, because I don't believe, I mean, he's looking that he could go to the rail and try and come into the gap for the 3, but it's a question of whether he's going to be brave enough to risk that. Nope, he's going to leave the high cut. Now with this shot in the 3, he just has to miss the 8 ball. Whatever happens, it's all about not going near the 8 ball or brushing off it so that he can get up high enough for the 4. This ball is slightly awkward, and because he's close, really can't really do an awful lot with the cue ball itself, so he's just potting it, missing the 8, and now he's gone 2 straight in the 4, and now he's got a problem. He can't pinch anything in this pot. He's got to either roll straight through for the 4 into the side, the 5 into the side. No, he's trying to draw down far enough. See, that's the easy escape route for VP4. That you can play the big draw and get into the spot. He could have rolled through, but the margin of error was quite big. As long as he got into an open space, he's bound to be having a pot on that ball there. Well, of course, Larry's been sitting about scratching his backside for about the best part of an hour, almost, I think, waiting in the final. So Larry's gone a bit cold. He's going to have to warm up soon enough, though, because it's going to be 6-2. But he's got to get to the table. And Slim breaks again, and at least 3 balls went that time, I think. The 2 balls gone, the 5's gone, the 6 is gone. He's got a 1-7 combo that he just needs to roll in dead weight to leave the 1 there. 3 balls wide open, and suddenly it's 7-2. Well, I think the safest route is to cut this and go around the angles and out for the 8 ball. I mean, he doesn't want to. He could jab into this. He looks as if he's playing that though. Yeah, he's controlled it well. He needs to avoid the scratch though. Oh, that's the only danger with that shot. I mean, if he went, the safest route is around the angles and out. But he played the controlled shot. But whenever you get into that cue ball just a wee bit too much, that middle pocket doubles in size. But he got away with it. And he's raced away here to a 7-2 lead. And I think he's dry. So now Larry comes to the table. Now can he pot this one without scratching? Oh, this is very close. That point. I don't think he likes it. Yeah. Well, he needs to get cover here. He has done. Oh, Slim's kick to 1, fluke to 3. Excuse me. And he's landed back on the 1. And the 2's very adjacent. So Slim getting a roll of the ball there. Big time. But as I always say, I mean, it's not about the fluke. It's about what you can make from it that counts. Everybody can have a fluke, but not everybody can make the most of it. And he's just gone a wee bit awkward again. I mean, he's just got to get this punched into the corner and come back to make the 5 ball comfortable enough. And that's going to do fine. You maybe want to try and just stun into the 7. Or is he just going to play it safe and roll it through? No, he's avoided the 7. Oh, he's maybe overcooked it though. He's overcooked it. Again, the cue ball is going to be running loose. And this cut in the 6. But he's controlled the pace well. That was excellent. And he's right on the spot. I mean, all he needs to do is kill it stone dead. He's got the angle in the 8. He's down for the 9. And all of a sudden he's on the hill. Well, at least this final's going at a good pace. I'm going to get to my bed sooner than I thought. Unless Larry decides to wake up or get a better roll of the ball. Because I think Larry's had one miss, I think, or maybe 2 at the best, where he's rattled a ball in the pocket. And apart from that, he's had nothing else. He's had nothing else to go at. And meanwhile, Slim has potted the 4, potted the 8. Does this 1 go past the 2? Yes, it does. But look where he's playing it from. Oh, he's hung it up. Well, there's a glimmer of a chance for Larry, but this is horrible where this 1 ball is. He's right in the pocket, and that's why it's so difficult. I mean, he can consider himself fortunate enough that he at least gets half a shot in the 2 to cut it in. And now, this is where the recovery starts for Larry, because it's last chance saloon for the remaining racks in this match. I'm beginning to wonder if anybody's still watching this. Is there anybody still there? Because Slim is the last person to say anything. I think everybody's ditched and gone to bed and decided they'll watch the end of this tomorrow. I'm sitting here all on my own. So it's a long road back for Larry. But he's got the break. Sticking to what he knows best. Just off centre line. Come back to the short rail. 9 ball goes in. It will be respotted. But Larry stays at the table. Look at the mess that he's got to deal with here. This is horrible. How the hell does he get to the 2 ball? He's got to get into this little gap here, or make sure he gets to the rail and slow down. And I don't think he can pot that. He can't get enough of it. Well, that couldn't have finished there any more awkward for Larry. Having a very thin window, very narrow gap there, and even narrower this side, considering you have to get real inside to make the cut. And he's trying to cover it, and I don't think he has done. Because that has run through, and the gap is there, and the 3 ball is on. Now Slim's got his work cut out as well. Once he pots this 2 and the 3, the angle he'll have for this 3 ball is going to affect whether he can get anywhere near on this 4. And that is reasonably straight, but there's a slight angle to work with to get into the gap. Well, he's playing it safe and trying to get up top. And he's got there. Now, again, if you were keeping it simple, all you're doing is rolling that in and playing the 5 up the table. And that's what he's doing. Now, again, the angle in the 5 is taking the cue ball that way. So it's now a question of what he's prepared to do here. Is he going to try and force this in, run up the table and come down, or just leave the cut? He's trying to force it in and come down with a spin, and that's perfect. As long as it stays off the rail. Well, I think he's still okay. You just drop it in, go over to the side and out. So this match, dare I say it, is over. Well, Slim's been pretty solid. I don't know how he's played in the rest of the matches tonight, because I think this is the first time I've seen him, but he stayed the distance tonight. Hasn't really given Larry much to go on. His break's been working well. Oh, good evening to Happy Dolo, and good night, because we're about to go. I'm about to head to bed. I'm well past my bedtime. Well, that's a solid performance by Slim. You can't say Larry played back. He played a 1, if not 2, dodgy little shots, but other than that, he had nothing else. So well done to Slim. He wins this week's Friday Night 9 Ball by 9 racks to 3. And that is it for tonight, folks. Remember that, final reminder that is, that the 10 Ball World Championships are now open. If anybody's looking for the sign up link, I've got it. If not, go to the calendar, narrow down your search to the month, look for tournaments, choose 10 ball, and you'll be able to sign up to the tournament that way until Steve puts up a page on the homepage to let you get there. So with that, folks, take care, stay safe, and I will bid you good night.
Good night, ladies.
No bar, no pinball machines, no bowling alleys, just pool. Nothing else.
You're way off. I say you're way off this time, son.